Alright, good afternoon. Just a part 2 of this video for Quora.com about how to make a cheap backyard wedding. So I mentioned in the previous video about really the most important part of the whole thing is getting an officiant, getting somebody who's going to perform the wedding. If you want to have the wedding to be legal, certainly. I mean, there are other ways around it, but it doesn't make sense to me if you're going to have a wedding, to go to a judge ahead of time under most circumstances. I can understand there are some circumstances where it is a good idea and some circumstances where it's not. I can understand, like, to have the wedding first and then get the marriage license later, circumstances like that. But I don't and I can understand, that the same officiant, if they can do it. But I've done plenty of times where someone will come to my house just to get the papers signed. I'm not a judge. I'm just a wedding officiant. I'm a rabbi, a minister, a chaplain, whatever. I mean, I'm a rabbi by my ordination. So legally, I can sign marriage licenses in just about any state that still has marriage licenses. And then later, they're going to have one of their friends perform it. But if they're going to hire someone, I think, I don't understand having it twice. If you're just going to have your friend do it, but I'm saying if you're going to, like, I see sometimes these things on the websites where they're like, we want to hire someone, we're going to get married by a judge, but we want to hire someone to come put on a show for us. Like, if you're going to do that, why are you going to hire someone the second time around? Just have one of your friends or family members do it. I guess you don't have any friends or family who can read a script, who are good at some basic public speaking. I don't know. It's, so to go and hire someone like that just doesn't make sense to me. I understand to hire someone who's going to do both. They're going to put on the show and sign the papers. I understand. But if you're going to have one person sign, and I understand having someone sign the papers and having a friend do it for free, the show part, but I don't understand paying somebody twice. That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know, paying two different people, basically. Paying the same person twice, I can almost understand. But because maybe you want to get it done a few months earlier or something. But paying two different people, that doesn't make any sense to me. And the thing is, a lot of these judges, I mean, that's what they do all day, is they put on a show. They speak in front of people. So they can have the same judge come and perform the ceremony. Perhaps, I don't know if they'll do that. But it's interesting, these different types of things that I've seen. I mean, I've been hired for cases like that. Usually I'm hired just to sign the papers and the friend does it. But I remember this big fancy wedding. It was a Chinese family, and they hire, and I can understand, well, it's a fancy wedding, they want something fancy, and they specifically wanted an American Western style wedding, is what they said. Because I asked them, do you want some Chinese cultural traditions? No, we want a Western, secular Western wedding, civil wedding. And then I was asked, where's the marriage license? They said, well, we did the real American thing. We got married in Las Vegas. And so, all right, I can understand that one too. But again, why not just, if you're going to do something like that, and sometimes they want to do that just to keep it a secret that they were married already, which I don't understand what the big deal is with that either. But the customer is always right. I'm fine with that. You want to pay me to read a script, or you want to pay me to sign my name, I'm good to do either or both. But then, there are other aspects of this, with the cheap wedding. So the most important thing is who's going to perform the ceremony. And you have to find out, in each state, the laws are different. If you want to go the route where one of your friends or family members is getting ordained online by Universal Life Church or something like that, or the Church of the Dudists from the Big Lebowski. If you're going to go down that route, make sure it's really legal in your state. Now, in Pennsylvania, I highly discourage it, and if you do want to go that route, get the self-uniting license. And probably, I would assume, would be the same thing in Colorado. I don't really know. In New Jersey, for example, I mean, the states that I know, New Jersey, it's fine. New York, it's difficult. New York City, you have to register. And in a certain way, registering makes things easier. So New York City and Virginia and a lot of other states also require some kind of registration. Massachusetts has a weird rule that if you're a resident of Massachusetts, then you can, and you're a minister or whatever, a clergy person, you can perform the wedding in Massachusetts. And if you're a minister outside of Massachusetts, you have to, each time you do a wedding, it's not just a one-time registration. I've only ever done one wedding in Massachusetts, and I had to get this paper that they sent me, which they gladly sent me, but it usually takes a few weeks to get it. They expedited it to me because it was last minute, and it was this really fancy with a gold embossed seal, and I was like, what's this all about? Like, why are they spending all this money on a gold embossed seal fancy thing that I just have to send right back to them? I had to send that back to them. I didn't get to keep that. It wasn't a diploma I got. It looked like a diploma. It was really fancy. Look at the baby lambs. Wow, those must have, so many tiny baby lambs. They must have just been born. Anyway, I got distracted by the baby lambs and that deer over there. This is a beautiful drive I'm driving right now. Too bad you can't really see it. You can see a little bit, right? So, the next part, I'm wasting so much time. I should have made a quick video about this. So then, once you got the officiant, and you're sure it's legal, whether it's a friend of yours, whether you're hiring someone, sometimes you can hire someone who's just starting to make their business and the wedding business, and they want to get weddings under their belt. When I just first started, I would do a wedding at $20, $50, $80. I didn't care. Sometimes I didn't even get paid and whatever. And just now I can say, well, I did 700 weddings since 2007, so I can ask more. And I've been asking $175 plus travel if it's over 100 miles, plus pretty much 50 cents a mile, meaning 50 cents each way, so it's $1 for one way. And now I've been trying to raise a little bit, 200, 250, and depends on the time of the week, location. Do I have to take time off work? Do I have to switch around my work schedule to accommodate this? So sometimes I ask $300, $400, and I don't always get them, and it's fine because now Thumbtack is a lot more easier. They don't charge them unless they respond. So now that they don't charge them unless they respond, so I'm going to ask more money because what do I have to lose? As opposed to when I was paying $5 for a lead, and maybe if they didn't open it in 3 days, then I'd get my credits back, but not my money back. So then I wouldn't. So Thumbtack.com, probably a lot of the officiants have raised their prices because of that, because it's easier now to raise the prices. So it's interesting. The other parts of the wedding, you could rent a tent, usually not that expensive, get some chairs. How many people are you going to have there? 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, 50 people? Do you have room for that in your backyard? I've seen 50 people fit in a backyard wedding. You set up the chairs. You have somewhere for the ceremony, like maybe some little. You can get like these little arches. You can even sometimes get them like at Walmart. They're not that expensive. You want to do one of these unity ceremonies. A lot of that stuff you can get at Walmart. You can have it catered, or you could do a barbecue. That's about it. You could do BYOB, and you could be BYO everything. BYOF. You could do a potluck. You could do whatever you want. That's all up to you. You don't need to hire a wedding planner. It's not that hard. A lot of these things are artificial. Although I have a tinge of regret in my life. My wife told me, in her previous life, she was interested in being a wedding planner, and she was going to take a course in being a wedding planner. I think she even paid for the course. And then her boyfriend at the time she wasn't Jewish. She wasn't religious, and he laughed at her, and I was like, if only she would have been a wedding planner. I'm a wedding officiant. We would have a great business together. So, but with that being said, and it disgusts me so much that he laughed at her about that. But you don't really need a wedding planner. If you want to just talk to one of your friends, or just look online. There's a lot of these DIY websites that give you guidance. For people who have money and don't have time, wedding planner is a great idea. But a budget wedding, I put on weddings, meaning a wedding that I officiated was a Jewish wedding. Most of my weddings are not Jewish. It's funny, in a lot of my Jewish weddings, the couple, they were already married legally, and they wanted a religious ceremony. So we did one where it was the case where the bride and groom had a Reform or Reconstructionist Jewish wedding, and they wanted an Orthodox wedding because they wanted the real thing, especially he came from an Orthodox background. And we invited local people because we needed a minyan, and we cooked up some chicken nuggets and falafel balls and maybe some gefilte fish, bought some challahs, had some soda, grape juice, maybe some french fries or pasta or something. We just cooked it ourselves. The whole thing cost like $100, We fed 15, 20 people. We had a wedding. And it was quite nice, And then we had others where it was just a ceremony and no food or anything, and also it's nice. And the good thing also about saving money on this stuff is that you can invite more people than you would think, because it's not going to cost you as much. If it's only going to cost you about $10 a person, as opposed to maybe, some places it's $15, $20, $30 a person, $50 a person, whatever it is, depends on the on the hall that you're using, the money that you're saving. It's just great, it's so you can invite more people. I mean, my wedding was on a budget, but people donated for us. But we did it in my college lunchroom. It was really nice. They didn't charge us for that. I mean, they knew we didn't have money. Other friend of mine who owns a grocery store, he pretty much catered it. Guys from the college, did the band, and it was awesome. It was really nice, actually. So, I mean, it was a Jewish wedding, obviously, and there was a lot of people there. It was like 400 people there. you know. So that's my advice. You want to do a backyard wedding, either get a caterer or do a barbecue. You don't really need a tent, but you got to be worried about maybe the weather, some chairs, a little archway, which you don't even really need, or some kind of a podium or something, or just anything, you know. Get a dress, whatever you like, you know. Get a suit, or get married however you want to be dressed, you know. You could dress up like Star Wars characters. I did that. Not at my wedding. I'm saying I officiated weddings where I dressed like Obi-Wan Kenobi more than once. Said, "May the Force be with you" in the ceremony, and do or do not, there is no try. And things like that. So, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and let us know what you think. Take care.